Travis coming with another video review, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Dark of the Moon Leader Class Sentinel Prime. One of the newest Leader Class figures, and I gotta say, this guy is absolutely looking beyond badass. As you can see, the new MechTech weapon system, you got the little trimey thing here in the center, spinning around here on the side, and it says Sentinel Prime is a legendary warrior, thought lost long ago. The strength of his will and power of his sword are spoken of in reverent whispers by Autobots and Decepticons alike. Now that he has returned, the final defeat of Megatron and Decepticons is assured. Absolutely fantastic. Spin around here on the back and it says electronic lights and sounds, Sentinel Prime speaks, automatic conversion sounds, robot combat sounds, and light up eyes. Obviously the MechTech weapon system has the shield which converts to a bladed blaster, and his vehicle mode is a Rosenbauer Panther 6x6 fire truck, whatever that means. And then you still have it right down here that says Rosenbauer Firefighter technology. Okay, sure. Look for Transformers Prime on the Hub Network. Spin around here on the side and it says the latest battle enhancement equipped by Transformer Warriors is the incredibly powerful MechTech weapon system. Weapons work with any MechTech Transformer figure, each sold separately, and create new weapons with MechTech combinations. That's weird, because I haven't really been able to see a way to combine any of them. Looking down here on the bottom, strength 10, intelligence 10, speed 10, endurance 10, rank of 10, courage of 8, fire blast of 10, and skill of 7. Fantastic looking figure. I'm absolutely in love with the way this guy looks. And being a little bit of a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan, I'm liking the fact that he's got 316 written here on the side of his fire truck. You see that he's a level 3 or advanced transformation, and it seems that the actual Transformers for the new Dark of the Moon, the transformation has been scaled back some. It's not as difficult as it used to be, so we'll see. But let's get this guy open and see how cool he actually is. Okay guys, now here we have Sentinel Prime opened up and out of its packaging, and in the Rosenbauer fire truck mode. As you can see, an absolutely gorgeous looking representation of how this fire truck really looks, with some really sweet, I love the Autobot logo, I love the 316 on here, it says Fire Rescue, has the Rosenbauer logo right here, an absolutely fantastic looking vehicle. These fire trucks are typically used as fire and rescue for large scale events, such as fires and crashes at an airport or something of that nature. And these things really are, in person, absolutely massive in terms of size. Basically what you have is a 38 to 40 foot long fire truck, roughly about 11 feet high, and just in general very massive. Now what does that basically mean in terms of a scale? Basically means that the only version of Optimus Prime that's going to scale well with this figure is going to be a Voyager class Optimus Prime. Now Optimus Prime is modeled pretty much after a Peterbilt 379 with obviously some modifications done to him, but roughly this vehicle is only going to be about 9 to about 12 feet long. So in terms of a scale, like I said, this is the closest that it's really going to be. And this is a decent scale right here. The Leader class version of Optimus Prime would be entirely too big. It'd be bigger than the fire truck itself. Really throwing the scale thing way out of whack. But then when you get into robot mode, they're essentially the same height. So in terms of a vehicle mode, Optimus Prime as a Voyager scales better with them, but in robot mode, the Leader class version of Optimus is what's going to scale the best with this guy. But as I said, an absolutely wonderful looking representation of the fire truck itself. I love the way that this thing looks, all the way down to the fire suppression hose that you have right here in the front, in addition to the extendable version up here, which you got it on a rotation joint right there, so you can do all the way around. You can put it back here, you can do it like this. I mean, it's really how you want to display your figure. Obviously, I like doing it like this. Now, on the top here, you see this little silver grayish button. When you push it, you get the lights and sounds. Just the regular siren, but you got the blue translucent lights up here that actually light up amber. And if you hold it down, the sound just keeps cycling. Which is nice, I do like that. Of course, Rosenbauer, their logo is going to be on there. Flip it around here on the back, some nice paint details. Just an overall fantastic looking vehicle mode. Again, I know that I'm trying to cut back on saying fantastic, but It really is a glorious looking vehicle mode. In his vehicle mode, he does have weapon storage. You can see his shield and stuff down here, which here's his little shield. And obviously I'll get into this more later on. But if you really wanted to, you can take it and you can peg it in here, and it's got all sorts of, you know, these little things move. It's got all sorts of like weaponized modes, which I'm not that big of a fan, but when you plug in any kind of MechTech weapon into this port, you get sounds. Kind of like it's coming together right there. And then you can push this little thing down and it blows up like that, and now he's got, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of this. I'm not a big fan of weaponized vehicles, which completely goes against what I said with the Top Spin review. But I just think that this kind of looks silly. I'm not a big fan of that. And then when you remove it, you get a transformation sound. So that's actually really kind of neat. And this button right here really does have like a lot of extra special features to it. And I'll show it off later on. But it's a really cool button. I really like it. And if you want, you can really take any MechTech weapon and... Oh, I pushed a little too far in. And then, pshoo, pshoo. And then, well, yeah, that doesn't seem to go down all the way. But any MechTech weapon is going to activate the lights and sounds for this section. That's a little tough. And then, again, you take it out. And that's all you have really with that. These little bits here, these can move if you wanted to. You can fold it down, but naturally it's a fire truck, so you're going to have them up like so. But I absolutely love the way that this thing looks. First, what you want to do is come around here, just kind of get this out of the way. And then this entire gray section, you want to kind of loosen this up and fold this up. Maybe get these out of the way. Accordion this upward, just so that you can see the other weapon stored on the other side. It's a double-bladed sword sort of thing, which it's okay. It's not too terribly bad. But if you zoom in here, you can see that he's got some really nice Cybertronian characters written right on the blade itself, and then also on the other side of it. But overall, nothing too incredibly special, but it is a very nice and very large sword type of a weapon. On the bottom section, just kind of loosen this little bit up right here. Rotate these wheels slightly out and rotate this bit down and get this completely out of the way. Fold that all the way back. Again, come to the front. In this section here, just rotate this little hose down and around. Separate this little bit. Pull that down just like so. Keep this thing out of the way, although it probably doesn't want to stay out of the way. And then you can wiggle this and pull this section out on both sides. There is a section here that, as you can see, this black section here goes behind here, so you do have to kind of, as you have it in there, kind of pull it forward, then rotate it out. Then take the mirrors here, and on both sides, rotate those inward. So those are now hidden from view, just like that. Take this section, rotate this down, and you can rotate his head all the way around, and there's Sentinel Prime's head. Come around here to these side panels, and all these side panels here are kind of a pain in the butt to really kind of get out of the way. Just kind of rotate this up. Do that on both sides of the guy. Just like I said, rotate them up. Take these sections here, rotate these down. Again, depending on what you have going on, kind of just loosen those up and just kind of get them down out of the way. Come around here to this side, untab this from the arm. You see it pegs into this little tab right here with these little hole pieces right on the side. Do that on both sides. And this is actually where things are kind of interesting with this figure. Get these up. His arms are on the insides of his legs, which is really kind of cool. That's an interesting, unique feature that really works well on this figure. Come around here to the back, separate these and just kind of pull them off to the side. And then you can take these arms, kind of wiggle them out and get them separated from the inside, like I said, of the leg sections. Although it's going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt for me because, you know, it has to. Oh, well, if I wasn't holding the piece. All right, there we go. Now we got the arm separated from the torso and the leg bits. Again, come around here, just get everything flipped up and out of the way. We're going to come to the legs. And actually, this is going to be the front of the legs. So take this wheel section, separate that. That will rotate inward, just like so. Kind of rotate these around. just like that, all the way around. Well, something like that. You fold these in. These little bits here are going to tab together, just like so. Rotate them all around. That'll tab together, just like so. And pretty much you're getting his legs done. Get them all the way rotated. Then you got to come to his feet, and these little bits right here are going to untab. And then on the inside here, this one here will, the feet are really kind of funny. Those rotate around. Line those up. Those will peg together just like so. Rotate this section up. That'll tab in there. Rotate that back. And basically, and you probably couldn't even see any of that, here's his foot assembled, which is a giant mess. It really, really is. So do the same thing on this side. Just untab, rotate that around, loosen that, rotate that back. Like I said, that'll tab together. That'll fold in. This will fold up. And here you have his other leg, and now you have the legs of Sentinel Prime transformed. With the leg situation, you want to focus on this section up here. You want to take this section and fold this in, just like so. And then you want to take the windshield and push it all the way down till it collapses inside that section. Rotate the entire torso bit up, bringing the head up to the upright position, kind of keeping this lined up properly. And then bring these up, and these little bits here will tab in just like so. Come around near the back, loosen the arms. These are going to rotate outward, and then you're going to see a little clip and a little tab there that you just rotate this up. That'll clip in right like so, and you can rotate this around. Rotate the arm all the way around, keep that in the back, and you got his arm pretty much done. Do the same on this side. Rotate this bit and separate that. Rotate that around, get this little bit kind of out of the way. Bring this up, clip this together all the way up like it's supposed to be. Rotate the arm, rotate that down, just kind of position these things in the back. Come around here. This little section here will tab together. Go ahead and lower this just to get that out of the way. Position him just like so. Kind of keep these rotated out. These are going to angle inward and then come out like so. And then you just position the chest pieces. Fold this little bit up. Kind of position the wheels. Rotate this down. Rotate his elbow. Rotate the wrists. Rotate. And actually, you should probably have it be this way. My bad. My bad. Rotate that around. And boys and girls, children of all ages, Sentinel Prime. Now, if I was not impressed with Sentinel Prime in his vehicle mode, I absolutely would be impressed with him now in his robot form. This guy is absolutely sensational. The overall look of him is just, it's out of sight. I love this thing. It's fantastic looking how he is. Definitely an awesome looking representation of the mentor of Optimus Prime. One thing that you can actually do if you want to on the back here, kind of open these up, and I didn't really do that here, but flip these little bits down, and then this section here can actually separate, and you can create more of a like a cape type of a backpack sort of thing if you really want to. But just really an excellent, superb, marvelous looking representation of this guy. Very, very Optimus Prime-esque. Zooming up to the top section here, I really love the way his face looks. I love the fact that he's got these ears, much like Optimus Prime has. So that seems to be kind of a Prime sort of thing. Just overall fantastic looking detail. I love the fact that he's got these little eyebrow things, and he just looks old, wise, and just too cool for words. Now, he does have lights and sounds in this mode as well. When you push this button, if you get it lined up properly and you push this button, you will get him saying a couple different phrases, and his eyes will light up. First time you push it, you hear this. And if you look really close, you're probably not going to be able to see the lights. You're probably not going to be able to see the eyes light up too well, but they do light up, and you can see his mouth moves just a little bit. And that's all he keeps saying over and over again, I am Sentinel Prime, unless you do something a little bit different. If you take one of the MechTech weapons and again put it in that same port that gave him different sounds in vehicle mode, you get that sound, and then you hear a couple extra sayings. And it's actually really tough to understand what he says. But that time, I believe he said, it's good to see you alive, Optimus, and then you push it again and you get a new sound. And that kind of sounds like he says, what has happened to the Allspark? And then he goes back to his original saying. Or rather, it just cycles through those two. So, good to see you alive, Optimus. And what has happened to the Allspark? It's really difficult to hear what he says. It's the volume's not too bad, but just the quality of the voice chip isn't all that great. And if you remove this, you get the transformation sound, and he goes back to his original voice setting, telling you that he's Sentinel Prime. Now, if you followed some of the news lately, it's pretty much been unveiled that Sentinel Prime is going to be voiced by none other than Spock himself. Leonard Nimoy has signed on, and apparently has already done some recording sessions with Michael Bay, voicing the character. The only thing that he's said about Sentinel Prime is that he's a complex character. And obviously, when you listen to it, that does not sound like Spock to me. So they clearly got the voice thing done before anything was done with Leonard Nimoy, which is unfortunate, because I would really love to hear Leonard Nimoy do this. Now, the figure itself, unless you have his legs bent kind of like this, he's very back heavy, and he's going to want to fall over. I really haven't found a good way to get his legs positioned where they support him better, other than keeping the legs angled back and then kind of going down like this, which is really kind of unfortunate because it limits the posability of the figure itself. And it's definitely a knock against him. Now, in terms of his articulation, his head will go about that far left and right, and that's all it'll really do. Rotates at the shoulder, but you have to be careful because this is attached, so if you rotate it, this whole thing's going to come around, and that's not a separate piece, so you can't keep that position back. Rotates here at the elbow, goes out like that at the shoulder, bends at the elbow, rotates at the wrist, and his hand, just at these joints here, as you can see, are individually articulated, so you can have him opening his hand or closing it. The thumb looks like, and no, it's not. Nothing at the waist, back and forth at the hip, in and out at the hip. They bend at the knee, rotates at the knee, and then the feet, there's all sorts of weird kind of pivots that you can kind of do with the foot itself. But like I said, because he's so back heavy, unless you keep him kind of like this, he's gonna wanna, as you can see, he leans back, and that's really kind of unfortunate. And there's not much you can really do. I mean, he's got this big giant backpack back here, and that's really kind of unfortunate because it takes away from an overall fantastic looking figure. Just absolutely beautiful looking. I think this thing is just top notch in my book. Now, in terms of a size comparison, here's Sentinel next to the Voyager class Battle Blades Optimus Prime. Now, I use this because in vehicle mode, that Voyager Optimus Prime is best scaled with Sentinel in terms of the vehicle mode. And the only real CGI images that we've seen of Sentinel have come courtesy of Empire Magazine, where we had Sentinel and Optimus Prime on the cover. Based off of that image, it looks as if Optimus Prime is, in fact, smaller than Sentinel Prime, which makes sense, especially if the vehicle for Sentinel is so much bigger than the vehicle for Optimus Prime. The only real difference is that it kind of, based on that picture, it looks like Optimus should be about this tall when compared. So he's a little bit shorter here in terms of toy form than he seems to actually be in terms of the real-life CGI, or at least what we've seen on the cover of the magazine. And just to kind of show you basically what I was talking about, here's the Leader Class version of the Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime. And as you can see, Optimus is actually taller than Sentinel Prime. So this scale, in my opinion, is completely out of whack. And honestly, that's why I say that the Voyager is better suited if you want to display Sentinel next to an Optimus Prime. This guy is just entirely way too big. Now, finally, we come to his weapons, and like I said earlier, this is just a regular double-bladed sword that fits nicely into his hand. If you look at his hand here, when it's a closed fist, it kind of creates this little circle. You open this up, slide that in, close the fist, and he holds this double-bladed edge thing fairly nicely, and that looks really kind of badass and very cool looking. And his shield, you just come around here to the bottom, flip out the little handle, and you can just close that fist and slide it into his hand just like so. In here you have his bladed kind of, I don't even know what you would want to call this, a shield type of thing, except he does have like this little blade thing. When you push this in, all this stuff explodes, and now he's got like a scissor weapon. I don't really know what you want to call it. And of course, he does still have like MechTech ports here on his forearms, on the top here, on these sections. He's got MechTech ports all over himself. But it kind of, because of the way his hand is, he has a hard time kind of gripping this unless you close the fist really, really tight. But, you know, he's got his little sword and his little shield, and Sentinel Prime is ready to slash people. Now, much like every Transformer, there's a difficult and an easy sequence to their transformation. For Sentinel Prime, the difficult transformation sequence is going back to vehicle mode from his robot form. Mostly because it's just a matter of getting everything lined up properly in terms of all the various panels. To start, what you want to do is come around here to the back and bring these together just like so. Kind of get this out of the way, lift this section up here, and then this section here you want to separate and just kind of swing out to the side. Come around here to the front, kind of move that down, I suppose. You can separate all this, lower this section all the way down, rotate these little bits out, get the wheels out of the way, and rotate these out. Kind of a pain in the butt sometimes, but there we go. Get that chest opened up just like so. Straighten out his head, come around here to the back. Again, kind of lift this out of the way. You want to rotate his arms down, just like that. Separate them, and they're going to rotate all the way around, and then you want to keep this section here, and then these hands will tab into sections right up underneath here. I'm sorry, the shoulders. Now, this is actually kind of a complicated thing that's going to come apart. Get these lifted up here so you can, well, kind of sort of see what's going on. And you push buttons. Get that tabbed in, just like so. Kind of straighten out the hands and the wrists. So they're going to be like this. Have this section, and again, it's just, this panel makes things difficult for me to show you guys. Have this out like so, where this little tab is outward, and then rotate the hand just like that. Come around to the other side, do the same thing. Rotate it around. Like I said, get this thing out of the way. Rotate that around. Rotate that out. Separate that and rotate this down and around. Rotate the forearm so this little bit is facing outward. Rotate the wrist. Kind of tab that in just like so. Keep these little bits up so they're kind of sort of out of the way. And rotate these little bottom sections. Separate the torso here, and then this will swivel back. And again, like I said, these little bits here will kind of get in the way, so just kind of keep them on the side like that. Come around here to the feet. Untab the sections here, which tab in there very difficultly. There we go. Just kind of loosen that. You're going to rotate the feet and separate this section and rotate that around so the wheels can then rotate outward like so. And you keep this whole 3/16 thing on the outside, and this tab's undone. And then just kind of, like I said, keep it off like so. So now you have it kind of like this, lined up on the side. And then just rotate all these little bits. And really, the feet are kind of a cluster, you know what, of just rotating things around till you get it just like so. And then you can line this up, and you can tab that section together, just like that. and then tab this section here like so. Then you got to keep the foot up like this, and the other foot is actually kind of weird. It's kind of one of those nitpicks that I don't know why they do it this way. Just kind of rotate this around, separate this section. There we go. Rotate that down and around. Keep that like so. And then of course, fit this little arm section in there. Rotate that little wheel up. Rotate this bit down. Like I said, the feet section are really kind of pains in the butts to get lined up properly. I really dislike the feet on this guy. There we go. And then you get it like so. Rotate that around. And this section here just taps together like so. And then, now with these feet, like I said, they're kind of a weird sort of thing. What you want to do is keep this foot angled up like you see, and then this foot here you have to angle it down as far as possible so that you can actually tab these sections together just like that, keeping part of the foot actually exposed down here at the bottom, which is kind of ugly if you ask me. I'm not a big fan of the way that looks. And then just keep all this lined up. Actually, your best bet is to keep these down and then bring the hands down. And again, keep these out of the way. And then just kind of fit these arms inside the shins. And in doing so, it'll probably detach this upper section. And then you just punch that back in. And if it did it on both sides, tab it just both in on both sides. Then just line up these side panels, keep that out of the way, line these up, and then those will clip together, lift that up, and then you have the little tab right here that clips in there, just like so. And like I said, just keep these panels on the side pegged together nicely, and it should make things just a little bit easier. Keep these little bits down and out to the side. Then you can rotate these all the way around, kind of lift this, get that out of the way, rotate these around so they're going to be off to the side like this. Perhaps. There we go. Just like that. Now, you can take his weapon and you can store it here in his vehicle mode. It just fits into this, on this little peg thing right inside here. And once you get it in there, you can do that. And then you can get that position down where it's supposed to be. And you can see where things are starting to come together. And this is where things are going to get a little bit kind of, not annoying, but you have to really pay attention to what you're doing. Pull this whole section out. Well, rotate these out to the side and then pull this section down. Pull this out. Take the head, rotate that down and around. Bring this section up. And then this, just kind of slide this. Well, you should rotate out the window mirror thingamajiggers. Just like so. And I know I'm kind of going through this kind of fast, and I apologize for that, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me, and I'll do my best to answer them. And then, like I said, you just fit this behind here. That lines up, and you can see you can kind of sort of tab it into place just like that. Have that like that. Rotate this section up, and this will tab together as long as you do it properly. Comes up in tabs, just like so. Push this all together so that's nice and tight. Rotate this section up, rotate these wheels out. This little bit right here, and this is kind of a pain. You got to get this lined up and then clip these little bits here into there. Rotate these up. Then the wheels will fold in around that section. And then, like I said, now it's just a matter of lining up all the panels and getting them to position properly. There's that. There's that. Kind of push this section down into there and squeeze everything together. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Tab this section all the way up. Do that on both sides. Push everything nice and tight so you close off some of these gaps. You can rotate this around now. Fold that like so. Here's the little hose. You just take your nail, stick that in there. pull his little hose doodad out, rotate this around, and then you got two little holes right here and here that line up perfectly on the oops, here and here. So just line that up, and you got more weapon storage for his shield. Got a nice little tug, make sure everything's lined up properly, and here you have Sentinel Prime back in his vehicle mode. When it comes to figures in the Dark of the Moon line, Sentinel Prime really is probably one of the best that I've gotten my hands on so far. A very nice looking vehicle mode, a simple yet complex enough transformation that it's actually fun and very satisfying when you're done, and a really enjoyable and very cool looking robot mode. Without a shadow of a doubt, this is a figure you guys are going to want to pick up when they are eventually out in stores. So, until next time guys, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. I'll talk to you later.